What's up, y'all? Welcome to the Chris Donaldson Project. I'm your host, Chris Donaldson, and thank you for taking the time to spend with us in our new universe that we're building here. Like you and like myself, this is a project. It's unfinished, it's undeveloped, and we continue to work on what it's ultimately going to become. So thank you for joining us for, I guess we're going to call this episode 1 to explain what this is all about. For those of you that have been watching us or are familiar with our YouTube channel and the live streaming show Office Hours, I'm super pumped that you're here, and this is going to be an expansion and an even better version of what Office Hours is, in my personal opinion. Not that there's anything wrong with it. We're just going to do more over here. For those of you that are discovering me and us for the first time, welcome. I am super excited and grateful that you're taking your time out of your day to download this episode or to watch this episode on YouTube. And the entire point here is that we're going to try to provide as much value to you as I can squeeze into the time that I'm allotted. So, quick and dirty bio for those of you that don't know me. My name is Chris Donaldson, and the education entrepreneur comes from the fact that I run a series of educational companies, everything from compliance and licensing and exam prep. So if you want to get a real estate license or an insurance license, those shout out to those realtors and insurance agents out there. You obviously know the process, but we also have a sales and marketing academy that is on a virtual platform where you can access instant lessons on business building and marketing and sales techniques and so on. So we're really a 360 series of companies in addition to my real estate brokerage and consulting and some other things. So there's a lot of you out there that we have common ground. So if you are a family business owner, or you took over a family business, or you're in a family business, we're on common ground. If you're a stay-at-home mom, if you run a household, and that is your job and all of the responsibilities and stress that goes with that. First of all, respect. And second of all, we have common ground. Third, if you're a leader, an executive, a CEO, somebody that's in charge of any type of business, and you feel like you're alone at the top, you're experiencing these challenges and you don't know what to do, we have common ground. If you've experienced obstacles, if you experience troubles and you're trying to figure out how to get through them now, you're worried about them in the future, or you have them in the past and they've shaped who you are, we have common ground. So the Chris Donaldson Project is really a project for me to share with you that I'm unfinished. Our businesses and our goals are unfinished. We are still in the process of building what it is that we want to do, and I'm still in the process of growing and building myself as a person. And so if you can identify with that, you are in the right place. So this first episode, I guess episode 1, we'll call it, I want to explain to you a little bit about the project here and what you're going to find in future episodes. And in order to do that, I want to take you through a couple of significant business and personal obstacles and issues that have happened to me, because surely you guys can identify if you're on any of those common ground pillars, or if you're any of those folks and you can identify with this in any way. And so for me, look, I started by taking over a 30-year-old family business at the age of 24. And so at 24 years old, I had my first debt, which I didn't have credit cards ever. I didn't have a mortgage loan. I didn't have a car note. Everything I'd always been to pay cash. If you can't afford it, don't buy it. And so the first note I ever had was when I bought the family business at 24. And that was the best decision, and in some ways the worst decision I ever made, but mostly best, because what did I do? I bet on myself. And whether I knew it or not at the time, I did have a vision and an ultimate plan for what I wanted to do in the future. And the company was going to be the beginning of the vessel that was going to allow me to do that. And so that was 2006. And the reason I want to start there with you guys, especially if you don't know me that well, is because I had 1 year just 1 year where the business sort of was just going along and doing what it did, which was 2007. So no significant drop-offs, everything maintained relatively where it was. So I was going through the typical challenges of I've got a business and operations and employees and locations and payroll and all those problems that you go through when you're running a business that's actually making money. And then 2008, 2009 hits, known as the Great Recession. Now, in case I wasn't clear, the education business that I took over was a real estate school that also had a mortgage division and an appraisal division and a home inspection school amongst our insurance school and a couple of other divisions. Let's focus on those big pillars. So the Great Recession, for those of you that went through it, you know where I'm going. If you're younger, you may not have really realized what was happening, but it was like the world was going to end. I mean, the subprime mortgage crisis, if you saw the movie The Big Short, and just understanding where Lehman Brothers collapsed, banks were going under, the federal government had to make the decision, which is still controversial, as to whether to bail out these institutions or to let them continue to fail, AIG and all of these huge institutions. Well, what happens is a lot of us, we see that going on, but it's like, well, it's not in my backyard or it's not in my front yard. It's not happening to my actual business, so there's no real net effect. Well, there was. Because now that real estate's in crisis, the mortgage business is in crisis, the appraisal business, which is related, is in crisis, and home everything that's connected to real estate, well, we're the education niche or arm of the industry. So guess what? We found ourselves in crisis, and it hit me, and it hit us, and I was not expecting it. And of course, I wasn't alone, but I went from just trying to figure out how to operate a business that was succeeding to now operate a business through tough times. And then I was 25 years old. So I'm watching where we have real estate classes that are full of students, and then all of a sudden, we've got classes that have very little students. We had a mortgage business or mortgage classes where people were filling up the room with the opportunities that the mortgage business had. And then it's like overnight, nobody was going to mortgage class. And then appraisal, nobody was getting their appraisal license. So whatever business you're in, but if you can identify with ours, all of a sudden we were in crisis. And so what I had to figure out really fast was how to take something that's good and all the challenges there and then run it through difficult times. And so through that experience, I'll tell you, I figured out that I can do this. I figured out what type of leader I am. I figured out what type of businessman I am. Because what I will tell you is anybody can run a company in good times. The real leaders and the businessmen and the people, the family leaders right out there, it's running it through the difficult times that shows where the cream rises to the top. And what I'll share with you is I'm not sitting here telling you I'm on top, but there were people that went out of business and we didn't. There were people that suffered, and we certainly did, but we persevered. And so what I want you guys to understand is through that process, I learned a ton of hard lessons. I had a ton of great experiences. And coming out of that period of time, I was now a next level type of leader and entrepreneur. And part of the Chris Donaldson project here, I guess what I'm excited about most is to be able to share that if you had experiences like that, either you're starting out in your business or you're experiencing that now in your business, or you're concerned of what you're going to do if that happens in your business. Well, part of what this project is let me save you some of the trouble and share with you what I learned and what can be learned and what can be done so that it doesn't happen to you. I could share with you the mistakes that we make, that I make, and I could share with you the successes and all the good things that come out of it. Well, after that, 2008, 2009, 2010, 2011. So the clock kind of just starts ticking. And of course, we had bailouts going on and money was being printed. So the economy starts to turn around and all of these various things. So then you're kind of getting a business back on solid footing. And then comes step 2 in the development of the Chris Donaldson project as a human, which was I realized that our company was special, that we did things differently. And the reason I say that is because I knew the competition well. And I saw what other organizations like ours were doing and how they were not providing value, terrible customer service, didn't care about the end user. I mean, it just goes on and on and on and on and on. And so what I decided after 2008, 2009 was that I was never going to let that happen again, which means I was going to always be paying attention. I will always be prepared. I will always be planning for the good and the bad. But most importantly, I won't have my eyes closed and ignore when all of the signs are there that something pretty serious is going on, like that recession. Because in the business that I was in, should have known what was going on because it was just, we were related to it all. But of course, that's why you have movies like The Big Short, because there's only a very small few people that figured it out. Well, the reason I'm bringing that up is because then in 2014/15, I decided to flip our company upside down. And what I mean by that is I wanted to literally change everything about what we do wrong, figure out what that is, improve every aspect of our company inside and out, no matter how challenging that is, so that not only can we grow going forward and we can survive the next economic recession, which will happen, but also so that we can achieve the next level of success as a company, as an organization, for the people that participate and purchase and register and all of those things in our products and our services. So 2014, 2015, it's almost like I almost put us out of business myself so that we could figure out what we needed to do to get to this point. So what happened? Well, we had to create a new mission statement. We had to have entirely new values, and we had to make them known. Well, there were tough decisions that had to be made, like what people get to stay on the bus and which people have to go. Because no matter how long you may have been as a part of our organization, if you were a cancer, if you were opposed to what we wanted to accomplish for other people and as an organization, you had to go. And so I had to make those difficult decisions. We had to upend our products and our services. In other words, invest in the future so that we would be as future-proof as possible. Never let a competitor ever even remotely make the market believe they could catch up to us in what we do. So I'm planting the flag in the ground here as part of the project to let you guys know that one time I let the recession hit me and I let hard times hit me because I wasn't paying attention. The second time, I did the swinging and I created the turmoil for us to get better. So the first thing I will share with you guys is that there's being reactive and proactive. And the Chris Donaldson Project is really a series of discussions and lessons and things that I'd like to share with you where, number one, being reactive is usually going to harm you and being proactive is usually the right move. And so when we flipped over the culture in 2014, 2015, one of the things that we did, which was incredibly difficult for me, was we made the important decision, we as an organization, to take me, Chris Donaldson, with my name as part of the company. Donaldson is our company, and our companies all have the word Donaldson, my last name, but to take me from behind the scenes and put me in front of the scenes. So that meant turning on the camera and getting on YouTube. That meant rather than saying, oh, the company's not about me, putting my face out there, becoming the brand, letting all of you, anybody that's watching this or listening, identify with me. That was a big part of the culture change. This has not been easy. I want you guys to understand that if you look at the stuff that we do and you think of it as, oh, it's a vanity project, then you have it exactly backwards. Because look, before 2015 or late 2014, there's nothing on me. There's no YouTube. There's nothing out there because I never wanted it to be about me, and it was a huge mistake. And so what I'm going to share with you is the recession got us to one point. Then we took proactive action to get us to the next point. And here we are. And I think that this is the stage where we go to the next point. And so the Chris Donaldson Project is where I want you guys, I want y'all, as we say down here in the South. First of all, I want you to learn from what we've done right. I want you to learn from what we've done wrong. I want to help you with your business. I want to help you with your goals. I want to help you work through personal and professional tragedies and obstacles and issues, because what I will share with you is the number one mistake that I made until about 2 years ago was thinking I had to do this all on my own. The number one mistake that I made was thinking, oh, I can figure this out. Well, I did. But the more I started to seek out help, whether it was from mentors, whether it was from books, whether it was from research, whatever the case may be, the more I did that, the easier it became. So the Chris Donaldson Project for me is a way to give back, but it's also a way for me to find you guys out there that we have common ground, and I want to help you in whatever way I can, and in some ways I'm hoping that you can help me, because now we're going through the process of scale, and scale is a whole new challenge for me. Scale is a whole new thing when it comes to business for me, because now we're dealing with proactive expansion and all the things that come with it. So if you've ever scaled a company, please reach out to us. We have common ground. And if you've ever wanted to scale a company, come on and hang out. We have common ground. So what I want you guys to understand, we called it the project because we don't know what's going to happen here, other than I have a general plan to share with you as much as possible. I'm going to bring on relationships, people that I have become friends or mentors or that I know that can add value to you. I want to bring you on and see what we can do to help you, or that you can do to help our audience. This is a project. It's going to take on a life of its own. But the most important thing, and all that matters to me, is that it helps you. And by and large, then it'll help me. Because office hours, when we debuted that in, I believe it was April of 2016. So that was a live streaming real estate show. And I always like to do live. The simple reason for live was that you can't fake it live. So I like doing live because we would take Q&A. We would take questions, and it was largely centered around real estate. And I could answer them boom, 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 provide value, help you, but also make sure that the universe knows that when you are asking me questions about something I know best, like real estate and real estate sales, or preparing for the exam, that I know what I'm doing here. I'm here to help. And I want to get whatever I have in my head to you. I want to share with you how I studied, because I'm not the smartest guy, what I figured out about how to do math, because I wasn't the greatest math student. Well, now the Chris Donaldson Project is a chance for me, for number one, this isn't being recorded live, which I think would make it easier, but for me, it's a little bit different, because now I know there's going to be time between when I record this and when you guys are going to listen. So the biggest thing I want you guys to do is get in early. Understand that the project here is we are all a work in progress. Our company and our companies are a work in progress. Me as a person, I'm a work in progress. My relationships, my family, and with my friends and my finances, it's all a work in progress. So the Chris Donaldson Project is going to be this outlet for me to expand the discussion from what was on office hours to not just talk to you guys as my real estate agents and my realtor friends. I love you guys, and I want you to be a part of this. This is for you. But I also want to talk to you guys that are in insurance or mortgage or running a small retail shop or having trouble figuring out what your next career move is going to be. If you're preparing for a license exam for anything, I'm here for you, because I've got all the hacks and the tricks to do it the right way, but to save you the heartache and the headache. So what I want you guys to understand is the biggest part of this podcast is going to be the community element. I want you guys to be a part of it from the beginning. I want you to be here and to understand that it's going to evolve over time, and we are going to solve some problems, and we're going to do it together. So I want you to, first of all, thank you for finding this, however you did. I want to thank you for tuning in to the first episode, allowing me into your world, whether you're listening to this in the car on the way to work, you're running, doing your morning exercise, or you have this in at your job that you currently dislike and you're looking for the next one. Whatever it is, I'm really pleased, and I want to thank you, and I think you should come along for the ride because it's going to be pretty cool. So in that vein, there's just a couple of things that we ask. First and foremost, please subscribe to the Chris Donaldson Project. Whatever your podcast medium of choice is, or if you're watching this on YouTube, make sure you subscribe. You do not want to miss out on what we are about to do. Make sure that when you subscribe, go ahead and leave a review. Leave a review, a 5-star review. Tell us what you like about what we're doing so far. And if you leave a review, so when you subscribe and leave a review, send us an email. I want to know that you did. Send me an email at project@thechrisdonaldson.com. So project@thechrisdonaldson.com, because it'll mean a lot to me. And then finally, for everything that's going on with the Chris Donaldson Project, make sure you go over to thechrisdonaldson.com/project, or just thechrisdonaldson.com if you just want to see everything that's going on in our universe. Because what you're going to see here is that we are creating all of this, and we want you to be a part of it. So make sure you subscribe, leave us a review, sign up for the project email list, because we're about to do something that hasn't been seen, and we want to take you along for the ride. So come along with us, and we'll see you on the next episode, where we're going to start to dive into the real nitty-gritty content of the Chris Donaldson Project.
Turn up, let's go.